To see someone's true character, pay attention to just two things. We often ask, how do I truly understand someone? In a world where masks are worn daily, smiles, handshakes, promises, it becomes hard to know who someone really is. But Shi Heng Yi, a modern Shaolin master, gives us a simple yet profound answer. To see someone's true character, observe how they treat others who can do nothing for them, and how they handle adversity. The first reveals their humility and compassion. When there's no gain, and still a person offers kindness, that's authenticity. When they help the poor, respect the janitor, or listen to the unheard, they reveal their soul. The second shows their inner strength and integrity. When the world crashes down and they still choose patience, still act with honor, that is who they truly are. You don't need psychology degrees or years of observation. Just watch closely in these two moments, and you'll learn more about someone than 1,000 conversations ever could. So next time you seek to understand character, look past words. See the invisible signs in moments of powerlessness and pressure. And if you want to build your own character, start there too, because in the end, it's not about who you are when things go right. It's about who you are when no one's watching and the world says no. In today's world, it's easy to perform kindness. Social media rewards it, interviews highlight it, people speak loudly about values, compassion, and strength, but none of those things truly define character. They are filtered, curated, and often rehearsed. True character, on the other hand, reveals itself in the silent spaces, in the moments when no one is watching, when there's nothing to gain, and when no applause follows the action. Shi Heng Yi teaches us that who a person is cannot be fully known by what they say. It must be seen in what they do when their guard is down. It's not in the perfectly timed inspirational post or the motivational speech in front of a crowd. It's in how someone behaves when they're late, under pressure, or dealing with a difficult person. It's in the way they treat the barista who got their order wrong, or the old man struggling with bags on the street. These moments may seem insignificant, but they carry the greatest weight. Why? Because they are real. There's no preparation, no audience, no incentive, just instinct, and instinct is formed by habit, habit by belief, and belief by the core values that shape a person's life. So, the next time you're trying to understand someone, don't just listen to their philosophy. Observe their conduct when it doesn't benefit them to act well. Pay attention to how they act when no one's clapping. You'll learn more in those few seconds than in hours of polished conversation. True character doesn't need a spotlight. It's always quietly present in the way a person lives, especially when the world isn't watching. One of the most profound ways to evaluate a person's character is to observe how they behave toward individuals who cannot do anything for them, those who are seen as lower in status, power, or influence. It could be the waiter at a restaurant, a cleaner in an office building, a homeless person on the street, or even a junior employee with no authority. These interactions speak volumes because they strip away pretense and expose raw humanity. Shi Heng Yi's wisdom reminds us that kindness without motive is the purest form of truth. When someone knows there is nothing to gain, yet still chooses to respect, listen, and support another person, that is a sign of genuine humility. It shows that they are not acting from ego, status, or a need to be seen as good. They are simply operating from an inner moral compass that sees every human being as worthy of dignity. It's easy to be respectful to a boss, generous to a friend, or courteous to someone influential. But these are often calculated moves, whether consciously or unconsciously. The real test is how one behaves when there's no reward attached. Does the person maintain eye contact with the janitor? Do they speak kindly to the grocery store clerk? Do they go out of their way to help someone who can't return the favor? This is where humility lives. in the consistent expression of kindness toward those society often overlooks. And when you see someone offering their time, empathy, or attention to those who are ignored, it becomes clear this person doesn't need a stage or spotlight to be kind. Their actions are driven by principle, not profit. These small gestures, so easily dismissed by many, are in fact massive indicators of a person's soul. A truly good human being doesn't measure the value of others by what they can receive in return. They operate from the understanding that every person matters, whether they're wearing a suit or sweeping the floor beneath one. When you want to understand the depth of someone's character, don't just watch how they treat those above them. Pay close attention to how they interact with those beneath them, or those from whom they have nothing to gain. There, in those subtle moments of selflessness, you'll discover the truth of who they are. Pressure is the ultimate mirror. When life is smooth and everything is going according to plan, it's easy to appear calm, composed, and even virtuous. But the real test of a person's character comes when the storm hits, when plans fall apart, when they're challenged, betrayed, misunderstood, or pushed beyond comfort. It's in these moments that the mask slips and the true nature of someone is exposed. Shi Heng Yi teaches that adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Under stress, people don't become someone new. They become who they already are, only without the polish. When anger rises, patience is tested, or failure knocks them down. How they choose to respond reflects their internal world, their discipline, emotional intelligence, and depth of personal growth. A person with strong character will not lash out when provoked, nor will they allow frustration to make them cruel. They will pause, breathe, and act from intention, not impulse. They may still feel pain, anger, or disappointment, but instead of being ruled by those emotions, they use them as teachers. They don't seek revenge or blame, they seek wisdom. And in doing so, they show us that true strength is not loud or aggressive. It's composed and steady. Think of a tree in the middle of a storm. Weak roots and it topples, but strong roots. It bends, sways, maybe even loses a few leaves, but it stands tall. The same is true for people. Those whose values run deep won't collapse under hardship. They may hurt, they may stumble, but they respond with grace, accountability, and perspective. So, if you truly want to understand someone, don't just observe them during celebrations or victories. Watch them when they fail. Watch when they are criticized. Watch when things go wrong. Do they stay kind? Do they take ownership? Do they rise above the chaos or become part of it? Because it's in the crucible of adversity, not the comfort of routine, where character becomes visible. The way someone handles life when it doesn't go their way reveals more about their soul than all their words ever could. We live in a world filled with words, spoken, written, tweeted, posted. People talk about their values, declare their intentions, and often build entire identities around their beliefs. But words are easy. Words can be carefully chosen, rehearsed, polished to perfection. They can be manipulated to persuade, to impress, even to deceive, and while language is powerful, it can never replace the raw honesty of action. Shi Heng Yi reminds us that in key moments, the moments that truly matter, people don't show us who they want to be. They show us who they are, not through what they say, but through what they do. When a decision has to be made in a split second, when someone's back is against the wall, when no one is there to witness the outcome, those are the moments when actions become the loudest language. A person might say they value respect, but do they interrupt others when they speak? They may claim to be honest, but do they bend the truth when it's convenient? They might talk about humility, but how do they behave when they're praised or promoted? These subtle inconsistencies reveal the gap between words and reality. Words can paint a beautiful picture, but if the actions don't match the message, then the image is just a mirage. You see, it's not that words are useless. They can inspire, comfort, and teach. But words are only trustworthy when they're backed by behavior. When someone says they care and then shows up for you consistently, that is when the words gain meaning. When someone says they are calm under pressure and then remains centered during a crisis, that is when you know they meant it. In crucial moments when the stakes are high and emotions are running strong, words fall away. What remains is action, instinctive, often unrehearsed and deeply telling. It's in these moments where a person's inner values and true nature come forward without a filter. So, if you want to know someone deeply, stop listening only to what they say about themselves. Start paying attention to how they behave, especially when they think no one is noticing. Because actions, unlike words, are not shaped by convenience or self-image. They are shaped by habit, integrity, and inner truth. In a world where so much is transactional, where even good deeds are often posted online or used to gain social favor, true kindness has become harder to recognize. Many acts of generosity are done not for the sake of others, but to be seen, appreciated, or rewarded. But Shi Heng Yi's wisdom reminds us that the highest form of kindness is the one that expects nothing in return. No applause, no recognition, no exchange. This kind of kindness is rare because it comes from a place of deep internal alignment. It isn't rooted in ego, image, or reward. It's rooted in empathy, humility, and a sense of shared humanity. When someone extends a hand to help, offers a listening ear, or gives their time or energy without needing anything back, you're witnessing authenticity in its purest form. That action is not a performance. It's not a strategy, it's simply who they are. True kindness is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with strings attached. It shows up in small, meaningful moments. A comforting word to someone in distress, picking up something a stranger dropped, defending someone who can't defend themselves. It shows up when no one is watching, when the cameras are off, when there's no possibility of reward. And that's precisely what makes it powerful. When people are kind only when it benefits them, whether socially, financially, or emotionally, that kindness is conditional. It's filtered through personal gain. But when kindness is given freely, with no thought of return, it becomes an expression of genuine character. It reflects someone who has done inner work, someone who recognizes the value in others, regardless of status or circumstance. Such authenticity is deeply felt by those who receive it. People can tell when a gesture is sincere and when it's performative. They can sense when you're being generous because it's convenient, or because it's simply the right thing to do. So, when you see someone offering kindness where there is no advantage to be gained, when they show care to someone who can't repay them, when they support without seeking recognition, what you're witnessing is not just a kind act. You're witnessing integrity. You're witnessing someone who is not acting to impress the world, but to serve it quietly and humbly. That kind of kindness cannot be faked. It is a reflection of the truest form of character. There is a powerful transformation that happens in moments of adversity. When life puts pressure on us, when plans collapse, relationships break, health declines, or failure stares us in the face, it doesn't just test us, it reveals us. Adversity acts like a fire. It burns away the layers we've built to protect our image, the polished words, the rehearsed confidence, the external roles we play. What's left behind is something raw, honest, and unfiltered, our true character. Shi Heng Yi teaches that when comfort disappears, so does the ability to maintain illusion. In adversity, we lose control over our environment, and with that loss comes the collapse of pretense. You see who people really are not when everything is going right. but when everything is falling apart? Do they remain composed or become reactive? Do they blame others or take responsibility? Do they grow bitter or choose resilience? In difficult times, ego becomes fragile. The identity built on success, status, or control begins to crack. When we're stripped of the things that made us feel powerful or important, we're forced to confront ourselves in the mirror, not as who we want to be, but as who we truly are. And this is why adversity is such a powerful revealer. It doesn't care about your title, your money, or your reputation. It goes deeper. It reaches into the core of your being and asks, what are you made of when nothing is left to lean on? The people who endure hardship with grace, who still show compassion in chaos, who stay grounded while everything shakes, have built something deeper than image. They've built a foundation of self-awareness, inner discipline, and moral clarity. You can't fake that in a crisis. It has to be real. It has to be cultivated long before the storm arrives. Adversity also reveals emotional maturity. Some people lash out when under pressure, take their pain out on others, or retreat into denial. Others pause, reflect, accept, and move forward with integrity. These differences are not random. They are reflections of a person's inner work, their beliefs, and their values. So while adversity is painful, it is also profoundly honest. It reveals whether someone's kindness, strength, and humility are situational, or part of who they are at their core. It brings truth to the surface in a way no calm situation ever could. In the face of hardship, you see whether a person's character was built on sand or stone. True character isn't something we're born with, it's something we cultivate over time, through conscious choices, personal discipline, and the willingness to grow. It's not developed in moments of ease or comfort, but through a consistent commitment to living by core values, especially when doing so is inconvenient, unpopular, or difficult. Shi Heng Yi reminds us that the way we treat others, especially those who cannot benefit us, reflects the roots of our character. It begins with the everyday choices. Do we speak with kindness or judgment? Do we listen with empathy or impatience? Do we respect the dignity of every human being, regardless of their title or status? These small decisions build the foundation of who we are, and when repeated, they form a pattern, a habit of humanity. At the same time, how we carry ourselves when life becomes difficult defines the strength and maturity of our inner world. When we are under pressure, disappointed, hurt, or overwhelmed, our true nature surfaces. It's in those moments that we either fall back into destructive reactions or rise into conscious behavior, choosing calm over chaos, understanding over anger, and patience over panic is not easy, but it is how character is shaped. Treating others well, even when we are tired or frustrated, reveals discipline. Staying kind when life feels unfair reflects wisdom. Being firm in our principles, even when shortcuts tempt us, shows integrity. These are not grand gestures. They are subtle, repeated actions that slowly but powerfully forge the kind of person we become. And this kind of character building requires both awareness and accountability. We must be willing to confront our own flaws, not with shame, but with the intention to evolve. We must ask ourselves in quiet moments, am I proud of how I handled that situation? Did I uplift others, or did I act out of ego or fear? These reflections lead to refinement. They remind us that every moment, every interaction, is an opportunity to align with our higher self. So, to build true character, start with two things: how you treat others when there's nothing to gain, and how you carry yourself when life gets hard. These are the anchors. These are the moments where personal strength is either forged or lost, and over time, these consistent choices become your identity, not the one you show the world, but the one that silently leads your every action. So if you truly want to know someone, don't just listen to their words or admire their image. Look at how they treat people who have nothing to offer them, and watch how they behave when life doesn't go their way. In those moments, you will see the real person, not the performance, but the principle. And if you want to become someone of depth, strength, and integrity, begin there yourself. Be kind when it's hard. Stay steady when it's stormy. Live your truth not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. Because in the end, our true character is not built in comfort. It's revealed in challenge. And it's not what we say that defines us. It's what we do when no one is watching.